Howdy folks, I am the Mighty Plantain and thanks for checking out this beer review. Today we're taking a look at a little something from Weyerbacher. It's called Insanity and it says it's an ale aged in oak barrels, which happens to be the extent of the information available on this beer on the label. That is the width and breadth of the description. Ale aged in oak barrels. So got pretty high expectations for this. I haven't been disappointed by Weyerbacher yet. Their Insanity is the new one here. Blithering Idiot, that's the one I'm trying to think of. Blithering Idiot is a very tasty barley wine that they put out. It's delicious and it'll get you drunk pretty fast. This one probably will too. It's sitting at 11.1% alcohol by volume, so it's in the double digits, depending on how smooth it is. Could go down pretty fast and get you pretty blitzed pretty quick. I just say that because I know that Blithering Idiot, after about 3 or 4 of those, you will be one. So we're going to check this out. Make sure while I'm pouring this out to hit me up down below with a like and a share. And if you really like what you're seeing, make sure to subscribe. That way you'll get a notification every time I post a new video. Hopefully you're getting some value out of these, whether it's just taking the mystery out of your local beer cooler or you're being entertained by my stupid ass. But I crave the attention either way, so I'm going to keep doing this. You might as well enjoy the ride. Well, it sounds very fizzy. I managed to put a decent head on that one, I think. It's kind of cloudy. Cloudy, but very effervescent. A little bit flocculent. There's flecks in there, so it makes me wonder how well filtered it was after being aged in the barrels. Quite dark, actually. Dark, cloudy, and flocculent. That's it's a nice combo sometimes. I'm honestly not a big fan of beers that I can see stuff floating in. I think it might just be a texture thing for me, or just an awareness that there might be something that I'm gonna feel on my tongue or feel sliding down my throat in terms of the particulates. But again, it's just an aesthetic choice. Usually the beers wind up being quite smooth and going down easy enough. So. Very nice color. It gets very, very dark here where it gets thicker. It's actually quite dark here on the thinner part of the glass. Just a little bit of light coming through. Very brown. It's hard to describe. Where the light's catching it, it's golden, but it actually fades very quickly to an amber honey, to a honey, then amber, then brown. And almost a black here where it gets really thick. I don't know if you can really see that on the camera. But a very interesting looking beer, especially in how quickly it gets darker. In the aroma, I'm definitely noticing that it's a high ABV beer because I'm getting that I describe it as a sourness, but there's a very particular flavor that you get from the high ABV beers unless they're balanced out with something else to mellow that. And that taste can sometimes come through in the aroma, and that's really what I'm getting here. Is mostly just that overall sourness that I would expect from like an Imperial or something of that nature. Maybe some slight woody notes, maybe a little bit of oakiness coming through there, but not much. Very much hits you up front with that sour, high ABV Imperial taste. Got a medium heavy mouthfeel, actually slightly oily. It's nice, and it's smoother than I would have expected. I would have liked to have seen from something aged in oak barrels a little bit more of the flavor of the barrel, like some woodiness coming through, something more along the lines of like a good whiskey or scotch would pick up from the charred barrels. It doesn't necessarily say that the barrels are charred, so maybe it was just thrown in some plain oak barrels, but honestly, it's just a smooth, slightly oily in texture. Bit of that sour, high ABV taste. It's not overwhelming, and it's not bad, but I'm just not really digging it. Honestly, I'm not getting a good feel off of it, a good vibe off of it. I'm enjoying it, and it's easy to drink. I think I'm going to hit this with a 3 out of 5. Not one of my favorites, but I'm not willing to put it in the category of an average beer just because it's smoother than I would have expected with such a high alcohol by volume. Ooh, pardon. Just overall, there aren't any specific characteristics that are standing out for me or anything that's really turning me on or impressing me. So just a slightly above average beer for me in terms of the overall experience and taste. But again, that's just my opinion. Love to hear yours. Hit me up down in the email link or the comments down below if you've had this beer and have an opinion. I'll also throw a quick user poll up here. You'll be able to rate the beer 1 to 5. Like to hear what you have to say. In the meantime, if you've got a suggestion for a beer you want to see reviewed, keep those coming. I do try to fulfill them as much as I am able. Due to local availability and such, I may not be able to get them all, but I will try. Till next time, folks, thanks for checking this out. Cheers.